Guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video on how the school system works in Trinidad. Before your child turns 5, whether he or she is 2, 3 or 4, you can send them to preschool. And before you enter into preschool in Trinidad, you have to set up your child or get them started on ABCs and all the general knowledge for school. So when you think that your child is ready, you have to carry them to a preschool in your area. And when you go to the preschool in your area, the teachers have to assess them, or the principal or whoever. They have to assess them as in where they are at and where they should be, or where they will be once they start school. So you enter them into preschool. That's if the preschool accepts them. So you enter them into preschool, and then by the time they reach 4 or so, they get an exam, and the teachers get them ready for primary school. So when they get this exam, it could be closer to 5 when they are 5 years or what, but depending on when they started, they get an exam, and according to how the preschooler does in that exam, they will be put in a certain class in primary school. If they are not ready to go into primary school, they will keep them back and work with them, and then assess them to send them to primary school. So when they finally go to primary school now, when every child turns 5, they are supposed to be in primary school by then, because 5 years old is the youngest to go into primary school in Trinidad. So when you finally go into primary school, you enter in first year. So in primary school, you have first year, second year, then standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, standard 4, and then standard 5. So when you enter into a primary school, a lot of the primary schools actually look at how your child got about with everything and in preschool, and how they did in preschool as well, to determine if they want this child to come to this primary school. Most of the time it's according to the principal. They would assess the child, they would check them out, and then they would decide which class they want to put the child in. So there is a brighter class and a slower class. So the brighter class obviously would move pretty fast in what they are learning, and then the slower class in primary school would learn at a slower pace, and that will decide which of the class your child is going into. So when your child going into first year now, they learn everything, they go through the amount of time, then they will go into second year. Second year, you basically learn, like, you go more in depth in the maths and the English and whatever else subjects. You do simple sciences, you do simple things, like, you know how they love to give you the science project where you have to take the red bean and put it in the bottle with the wet toilet paper, and you will watch it grow and whatever else. Yeah, so they love to give you these type of things in second year. And then when you reach second year now, when you're finished with second year, you go on to standard 1. So when you went to standard 1, this is where you learn things like clocks, how to tell time, how to more advanced maths, for example, short divisions or multiplications, just more simple maths. You would learn more of your tables, timetables, all of these different things you would learn. And standard one, most of the time, that's when you would start to join like different things, that activities that are going on in the school, whether it be football, whether it be cricket, whether it be basketball, volleyball, whatever it have. Some schools have swimming, some schools have music. You could join music, as in, what do you call it, choral speaking or singing, choirs, whatever you want to join. It have a whole lot of different activities you can take part in primary school. So when you reach standard 4, you can join, standard 1, you can join any of one of these things. So when you do out your 3 terms, you go to a next class and you go through all of the first day stuff or whatever. Anyway, so from standard 1, you go to standard 2. Standard 2, what did we learn? I can't remember. Anyway, you go into standard 2, then you go into standard 3, and then standard 4, and then standard 5. When you reach standard 5 now, from standard 4, they actually start to get you accustomed to doing exams and all of these things. And then standard 5 is when you do a lot of practicing, a lot of standard 5, they mostly give you just the subjects that you are actually going to do in the exam. For example, maths, language arts, and creative writing. Back in my days, that's what they got. And when you get maths in language arts and creative writing, you have to, the teachers actually cram you with a whole lot of exams. You get a whole lot of testing and a lot of things. So they cram it into you. And also every week they send like newspaper exams in newspaper. And our teacher actually used, in standard 5, our teacher actually used to take this exam and give it to us to do as an exam, and we have to try and pass it completely. So we would do this exam, and then yeah, every weekend, every whatever. So then we would practice all these exams in standard 5. Then SCA comes. SCA is an exam in primary school, in the end of primary school, where you have to do exam on maths, you have to do exam on English or language arts, and then you have to do an exam on creative writing. Back in my days, I actually still think students should strive to reach this, but back in my days, you have to actually pass the half mark to be able to pass the exams. So language arts and English, language arts and mathematics, you have, the total was 100, and you have to pass 50. You have to get 50 and above to pass that. Then creative writing, you have to, it was up to 20, and you had to make 10 and up to pass the creative writing. So that's the pass mark. So everybody must study to be able to pass this pass mark. And before this exam comes about, your parents or whoever would actually, or your guardian would come into your primary school and decide and give your teacher a first choice, a second choice, and a third choice of which school you should go, they would like you to go to, or which school you would like to go to. or which school you should go to. So the parent would write down a list of schools, and depending on your marks that you make for SEA, you would go to that school, because every single high school in Trinidad, you have to make a certain amount of marks to be able to enter into those schools, or a certain amount of percentage. I actually still have my papers there to show what I got, but I will show that in another video so that people will see how it works and everything. So yeah, so you will study, then SE will come. A whole lot of different teachers from other schools would come into your school that you are in, and your teachers would actually go to some other school to watch over the students while they write the exams. So on the day of exams, they would prepare the whole hall or wherever with all the seats. They would write like numbers on it, on each desk, and according to your name, they would line you up according to the letters of your first name, and according to that is where you would be sitting down in the exam room. So you can't just sit down anywhere. They would place you according to the letter in your first name, and plus you will have a number. I actually remember my number. My number was 036. Oh my number is 036, and I will sit down there for each of the exam. So when you do one of the exam, you will get a break, and then you would come back and do a next exam, take a break, and then you would come back and do the last exam. So when you are finished with all the exams now, they would take all the papers and everything. Within that period, after that, you can actually decide to stay home. You can actually because after that, after you do your exams, they don't really do nothing in class. They don't really do anything much. So you can either stay home, or you can still come to school, go to school, or send your child to school. It's up to you. And then they would get information as to when these things are when the results are coming in. When this information comes in, I don't know how they did it in other schools, but in our primary school, they had a whole assembly, and everyone was seated in the hall, and they just called everybody's name and said which school they passed for, and call their name and say which school they passed for, and hand them the paper, and this paper would show how much percentage you got, what you get out of 100 or out of 20 in your exams. It would show the percentage of the total. It would show the school that you passed for. All of these different things it would show, so that you can be able to go and see about your sign up in your new high school. After this, now you would go to the high school. You would get a time where you have to go to the high school, and then when you go to the high school, now it will have like a general assembly telling you would go with your parents. They would sign you up and join you to the school, get all of your information. Some schools actually sell the uniform, so you can buy the uniform there. And then some schools, all schools, you have to get your ID badge. I know the school that I went, I had to pay for my ID badge, but I don't know about other schools. You absolutely have to get your ID badge, because every single public school, you have to show your ID badge when you're entering the school. They don't want to just see you wearing the uniform and then you enter. That makes no sense. They want to actually see your ID badge to show that yes, you are a pupil of this school. So when you go into high school now, when you finally sign up and they tell you, they will, on that same day, they will show you your classroom, they will show you your homeroom teacher, they will show you your teachers. What else do they do? That's about it. Some schools actually assign a student to you to show you about and show you around the place and show you where you go to, I don't know, where you go to eat lunch, where you get all these different things from. And also when you're signing up, in primary school and secondary school, they also ask you if you want to be signed up for box lunch or breakfast. And you have to actually sign up for these two things to be able to get this. So basically in Trinidad, they have a lunch program where they prepare breakfast for the children and lunches for the children, because obviously every single child that is coming from a home, not every single child gets to eat breakfast in the morning, and not every single child would have enough money to pay for lunch and to be able to pay for something to eat or whatever. Some children do bring lunch from home, but some children, parents sign them up for lunch or breakfast. I actually didn't sign up for breakfast because I don't eat breakfast. Anyway, I'll put that in another video. So you can sign up for breakfast, you can sign up for lunch. Your name have to be on the list to be able to get breakfast and to be able to get lunch. And also the reason why they are doing this is because you have to give the box lunch company or the box lunch organization that prepares these lunches for all the schools in Trinidad and Tobago. You have to give them like a number of children that have signed up so that they will know how much to prepare for each school to be able to bring it for them. So yeah, so this is primary school and secondary school. So when you finally go to your first class secondary school, let me tell you, secondary school you start from form 1, then to form 2, form 3, form 4, form 5. Some only 5-year schools have up to form 5, 1 to 5, and then 7-year schools have from form 1 to upper 6. So it's 7-year schools have form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lower 6 and upper 6. When you reach form 5, you can decide if you want to go on to form 6 or if you want to just graduate right there and stop right there with CXC exams. Or you can go straight to university from form 5. So when you enter into the school in form 1, they sign you up, they show you your classes, you go to your classes. Then from form 1 straight down to form 3, you actually get every single subject, except for certain exceptions, but you get almost every single subject. So the subjects I got in my school was English, Maths, Science, Agricultural Science, Integrated Science, Agricultural Science, Social Studies, Music, Visual Arts, Spanish, Information Technology, we got dance, and also literature, English literature. English A was just normal English with the creative writing and all of these speaking and pronouns and adjectives and all of these things. And then English B was just know how you would read a book, read a storybook, read a novel, whatever, and then you would write about what you read or answer questions on what you read, like that. That was English B. So also we got cooking and sewing. I can't remember the name of those, but we got cooking and sewing as well. So all of these different subjects you would get from first form 1 straight to form 3. And this was in my school, but some of the schools that do actually have trade subjects. For example, some schools have trade subjects like mechanical engineering, things to do with fixing cars, electrical, fixing up electrical in your house, plumbing, carpentry. What are the others? A whole lot of other trades that you can actually learn with your hands, because as you know, not everyone is good with theory, not everyone likes theory. So these other schools with the trades are actually for children that are good with their hands, are good with doing all of these type of trade stuff, or who wants to go into these type of trade stuff further on in life. So trade is I actually wanted to go to a trade school, but because of my maths was way too high to enter into the trade schools. But I really wanted to go to the trade schools because they have like great advantage over, I would say they have a lot of advantage over the children that just get theory, a whole lot of theory and not much practical. So to me, trade school is actually the best schools, but according to society, the other schools are the better schools with mostly like a lot of theory, sciences, businesses, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so you learn all of these subjects from form 1 to form 3. When you reach form 3 now, they give you a document where you sign, and you would sign up for the subjects that you want to do. Each high school or secondary school, you have to sign up for certain subjects. You have to sign up for either, there are always different kinds of subject grouping. So you would either do businesses, you would do sciences, there is home economics, you would do the arts. I actually don't know what the others are, but yeah. And in businesses, you would do, they would decide what you have to do in it, but most of the time you would do English, maths, you would do principles of accounts, principles of business, social studies. They always say you must do one science no matter what grouping you're in. So you can either pick like integrated science or human and social biology. You will, in business settings, you would get information technology, you would get, what's that other one? Sometimes you would get technical drawing, depending on, in our school we could have actually picked that for extra subjects, but when I reached there, they said that we can't pick any extra subjects. But I wish I got that. Anyway, yeah, so those were the subjects that you would get in businesses, usually get in businesses. And then sciences, you would usually get English, maths, general. English, maths, integrated science, human and social biology, chemistry, physics, biology, the normal biology. I'm not really one type of, oh, they have sciences. I think in our school they got technical drawing as well. And other than that, I can't really think about any other thing that any other subject that they got. Oh, and I think they also got information technology. And then in home ec, you will get everything to do with cooking, everything to do with sewing, English, maths. You would also get music or art, social studies, these type of things you would get in home ec. And then in the arts, you would get technical drawing, visual arts, music, English, maths, social studies, and one science. Most of the time when you are picking subjects, the general grouping would normally be 7 subjects in it, depending on the school that you are going to. If you are going to a extremely prestigious school, you can literally get like 10 subjects. I saw that some persons actually did 14 subjects. I don't know if they did it with a school, but I do know you can do extra subjects out from the school plus with the school. So when you pick your subjects now, they will send you home for your parents to sign the paper to show that yes, they agree with these things, they agree with these subjects, whatever. And then you will carry it back, and then after that, after this paper is signed, then you get authorization to do the exam. So when you do the exam now, you have to make sure and get a certain amount. So it's so when you're picking your grouping, you will pick first choice, second choice, and third choice. So my first choice was obviously business. My second choice was the arts, and my third choice was, what was my third choice? I think my third choice was home ec, and my last choice was sciences. The only reason that was my last choice is because I really didn't like sciences and I never used to do good in it. So I was just like, why should I pick a subject that I was never good at? So I did not pick sciences. I mean, I put sciences as my last choice. So I actually got my first choice. So when you to be able to get your first choice, you have to do extremely good in all of your subjects. Not just the ones that you need for your subject grouping, but you have to do really good in all of your subjects to get your first choice. To get your second choice, you have to do good in all of the subjects that are required to be able to be in the second choice. And then the third choice, they just put everyone else in whatever is remaining for their third choice, because they didn't make it for their first choice or their second choice. So yeah. So after you get into your subject grouping, you will go up to Form 4. So when you go up to Form 4, so say if you're doing businesses, you would only do the subjects that are in businesses. If you are doing sciences, you only do the subjects that are in your section, which is sciences. So then we move on to Form 5 now. Form 4, you just getting used to everything. You just recap on every single thing you did in Form 1 to Form 3, and then you start to add on like new new things to the from the syllabus, and you start to learn more new things relating to your subjects. So, and then Form 5, you just Form 5 in the first term you should be finished with every single part of the subject in the first term, and then the second term you would start to do like, so when you're going to do CXC, you have to do SBA for certain subjects. So an SBA is like a really big project that you have to do to be able to put with certain subjects when you're doing CXC to be able to pass. When I was going to school, you had to be, your subjects must have a SBA with it to be able to pass. If you didn't do the SBA but you still did the exam, you would still fail. So you had to do the SBA. And the good thing about the SBA is that when you do the SBA, you actually get extra marks when you do the SBA. So that mark would actually add on to the CXC marks that you actually get. So when those two add on, you actually get a higher mark. So when you're in the second term in standard 5, you will get your SBA, and the teacher would start you with the SBA. The SBA is a slightly long process. Some teachers will actually decide, you know what, I will do the whole SBA for you. You just copy it and change up your name and whatever. But you're not supposed to do that. The teacher or some of the teachers would just hand you the paper with the outline, and you would just have to do it yourself. Or if you have a really good teacher, they will actually go through it step by step and show you exactly what to do, exactly how to go about doing it, and exactly how you would write it out and all of these things. And they would actually check each part of your SBA step by step, just to make sure that your SBA get through, just to make sure that your SBA is finished completely and it gets through. The thing about handling SBA, the only problem I see with handling SBA is that you have to give it to your teacher, and your teacher have to hand it in. The problem with that is some teachers actually misplace your SBA. Some teachers don't carry it in on time, and then you end up failing your exams, which is actually terrible. That's the only problem. So it's actually good when you have a really great teachers and really great teachers that care and are responsible and everything. And yeah, and even if something happens to your SBA, the teacher, if you had a good teacher, they would actually go in to the place and they would actually ask them to give you more time to do it over. Since they misplace it, they would actually ask for more time for the student to do it over, since the teacher misplaced it. So it all depends on the teacher that you have. Yeah, so when you're doing your SBA, it's a long process. I did businesses, so obviously in businesses you have to do a books of accounting and all of these things. You have to be able to add up and subtract and do all these different multiplications and all these different things, and you have to be level in the end. Then you have to do, for the SBA, for principles of business, you have to start up a business, but you have to start it up in the theory form. You have to write up what business you're starting, how you're going about doing it, what is your capital, how you started up with the whole capital, where you get the capital from, what you will be selling in your business, what the taxes will be, all of these different things you have to do to be able to start up your business entirely. And then for social studies, I actually can't remember what we did for social studies SBA. Social studies SBA was pretty long, was really long, but I can't remember what we did for the social studies SBA. Then only certain subjects had SBA, and for information technology SBA, we had to do up the whole thing on the computer. It had to be it was actually a full out soft copy, and then in the NNN, then the teacher have to print it out or show you how to print it out, because you can't just print it out just so. You have to print it out a certain way. So for information technology, we had to hand up a soft copy and a hard copy for our SBA. So that was a long process as well, but I got through it and everything was in proper order. So next, after CXC now, you would go to, after CXC is just waiting days. When you finish your exam, you can decide to come to school or you don't have to come to school. It doesn't really have much to do. So when you finally get back your results, you have a big graduation. Every school have a graduation, and then they hand out like your trophies or certificates or whatever you might have to get for those days, and then you graduate in your gowns and your parents take your pictures, whatever. Then after the graduation itself, there is Achievement Day. Achievement Day is when you go to school. You actually have to be invited for that day, because if you don't have to get anything, they wouldn't call you out or anything. So you have to be invited for that day, and I got invited. And in our Achievement Day, students got like trophies on if you get 5 subjects, if you pass 5 subjects in CXC, or if you get 5 or more subjects, plus you receive a certificate as well. And some students would also get like specific trophies or whatever to go with each subject that they pass. And also students that made the highest in a certain subject, they would get a trophy as well. So Achievement Day was really great. And yeah, so after Achievement Day, actually graduation, right after graduation is prom. So in Trinidad you will have prom. After graduation you would have the general normal party. You would dress up and come out in the limo or rides or whatever you want to come out in, and you would just have a fun time with your friends and enjoy. Whoever is a couple, they would have a great time and whatever, and then they would go back home. And then that's it for high school. That date ends, unless if you are going to a 7-day school where you would go to lower 6 and then upper 6. Lower 6 and upper 6 is where you would go to they would just get you ready to go to university. So but right now you don't have to go to lower 6 and upper 6 to go to university. You can go to university straight from Form 5, after Form 5. So that's what most students are doing, but you can go to lower 6 and upper 6 and then decide if you want to go to university after. So lower six and upper six just preparing you for university. So when you go to university now, you just have to, you can go through the government paying program where they would pay for you to go to school, but you have to be past a requirements to get that is to pass five or more subjects, and within those subjects you have to have maths and English. So this program is where the GATE program is where the government pay some of your tuition and you pay the rest to be able to go to university. I would actually advise persons to really look up and to really see how the university is and visit and see exactly how it is. Right now with the economy in Trinidad, every single body wants you to have experience in the field before they hire you. They don't just want to see a degree of this and this and this. They want you to have experience. And a lot of people are like, how can I get experience if I now come out of university? And this is the first job I'm looking for. So personally, most of the time persons will just go and do internship to be able to get experience so that they can actually get a job in what they were doing. So yeah, you go to university, you sign up with GATE, you get through, but the GATE program is only for Trinidadians. The only way a foreigner would be able to get it is if they go through the process and get like citizenship and all of these things, then they will be able to get through with the GATE program. And also, I forgot to say, when you're in primary school and you're going into secondary school, like say you pass for a school that is way too far, or your parents can't afford to send you there or something, or your parents don't feel comfortable with sending you there, you can actually go into the Ministry of Education and you can change the school. But since every single high school have a certain amount to get into, a certain amount of percentage to be able to get into those schools, you have to pick one where your percentage is equal to or higher, because if the amount is lower than the school that you want to go to, you will not get in. It must be higher or equal. And okay, that's it for that. And also, if it is you finish school, or if it is you want your child to do homeschool and you want your child to do, like say your child is 14 or 12 or whatever, your child can actually do CXC subjects at a very early age, and you can actually go and sign up for CXC outside from school. So you go to the Ministry of Education, you sign up for the subjects that you want. Obviously, you have to prepare for these subjects beforehand. You can probably go in and ask for like a syllabus, or they sell like a teacher's guide in the books. They sell those, and you can actually go and get those and get it for your year and study those and just go and sign up for CXC for whichever amount of subjects, and each year citizen have 2 free chances of doing all of these subjects. And then after the 2 tries, you will the third try you have to start to pay for it. So yeah, so you can actually sign up for your student, for your child to do CXC at an early age. They can pass and they wouldn't have to continue with too much schooling anymore. You can actually set them up with sports, or set them up to learn other things, or do other things in life, and just make them go forward faster instead of waiting, instead of sending them to school like from preschool straight down to secondary school. Instead of letting them go to school for up to 16 years, up to 17 years, you can let them do schooling up to 12, up to 13, and do CXC, and after that they have a lot of years to be able to learn different trades and learn actual things that can really push them in life and help them in life. And while they're doing that, they already have their CXC subjects on hand as well, so that's good. Yeah, so I think that's all for the schooling system in Trinidad. Oh, and I wanted to say, if it is you pass for a public high school or public secondary school, and they are trying to get you to pay a whole big tuition, you don't ever pay it, because in Trinidad you are not supposed to pay any public school or any government school any oversized amount of money, because the school doesn't belong to the principal, it belongs to the country, it belongs to the government, and it belongs to the country. So it doesn't belong to the principal, so the principal cannot ask anyone to pay over $1,000 on anything. Because the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people have been getting this, where they would literally pay a whole set of money just because the principal or whoever asks tell them that they have to pay it. So when this happens to you, you have to go into the proper authorities and report this to these persons, because you have to report it, because it is illegal and it is not part of the free schooling system. And just so you heard me right, Trinidad actually gives you free schooling. The only time you have to pay is when you are going to a private school, a private organization school. You don't ever pay when you are going to a government school. That's why you get complete free schooling in Trinidad. Okay guys, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot from this video. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I think I will see you guys. I actually will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. Peace.